Alright guys, anyone who had the parlay on the Super Bowl streaker and, again, a freaking wedding at halftime, like, what are we doing, Bad Bunny? Like, come on, bro. Yeah, you're probably making out better than the Seahawks did, but at the same time, I mean, that was literally worse than the Rams Super Bowl. Like, what are we doing, guys? Like, come on. Get this thing going, though. We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Tonight, we set Super Bowl MVPs representing all players who shined on this stage.
Gets into tempo, jumps the ball, fakes to Shaheen. Darnold downfield from Cup. Got it as he inbounds. They say yes. Season, kicking from 33 yards. And the Seahawks get the first point to Davion Henderson. Checks in as the back. Helps protect. May has to escape, and he cannot. Brought down for the seat that time. And he gets there with a sack. So the secondary's in the backfield. Second and 10. Trying to get Walker to bounce to the outside. There he goes.
He needs some milk.
Kenneth Walker. Browns victory over the Niners. Walker moving inside. Gonzalez on the edge. It's pushed out of bounds. From his left to right. 39.
Back inside this building.
Here is May. Again, pressure back to him. And he's brought down Riley Mills. Only 10 from 41. Didn't worry about any of that wind stuff. From the other way to Walker. Past a lot of folks. There he goes. Walker. Several have done it. And snap with a good hold. And Myers adds offense in the Super Bowl. Can they change it? Special and trouble. First penalty against Seattle. Only 2 against New England. And that ball is hit up in the air and incomplete. It's 3rd and 5. He's trying to step up. He lost the football. It's free in Seattle. Big to him. Darnold to the end zone. Porter's got a touchdown. 5 out in the pattern. May try in the middle of the top row. 35-yard line to find some tempo. Trying to take a shot play. Downfield for Holland. He's got it. Touchdown, New England. Pressure on him and worry coming. Ramondre Stevenson's got it out there. Hurling him 50 to go.
Hey, yo.
Up and shoot one downfield. It's intercepted.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
Love has it. So that was still Myers setting a new mark and trying to add to it. From 26, that's his 5th field of the game he hoped for. Still time here at 5.5. This relentless Seattle defense. And May came under pressure. Fires to Diggs and hangs on. May stepping up, throwing it out. Stevenson takes it off his shoe tops and scores a touchdown. And he slings it to the back. Henry is hit hard. In the NFL, the Seahawks, Super Bowl champions for the 2nd time.
With that, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to NFL. Please like and subscribe. We guys are ready for the Super Bowl recap as the NFL season is officially over with the Seattle Seahawks knocking off the Patriots in Super Bowl 60, 29-13. Super Bowl 61 will be even more insane than this. I'll tell you that right now. But obviously, this game was not great. I'm telling you guys right now. Before we get into that, though, I do have some housekeeping things again. I know I'm dragging it, but as you guys know. From now up until literally the start of March, the NFL is about as dead as ever. It's like, again, this is the deadest part of the season. So don't expect, a ton of crap to come out. Again, obviously my reaction video will be coming out sometime in the next week. Then, sometime over the next 2 weeks, I'll have the offseason. One thing every NFL team needs to do. That's, again, annual sort of thing there. But don't expect a ton of other stuff. Maybe I put a couple other things out. But, again, it's a dead part of the offseason, obviously. And then, obviously, we will be having the NFL draft stuff start to kick up. The offseason really starts going in March. And, obviously, the Combine recap. That'll really, again, kind of kick off this, again, really the true start of the offseason. But just keep that in mind. Not a ton of crap that'll be happening really for the rest of the month. But still, again, the usual in that aspect. Also, offseason, obviously, again, if you're just as a whole, obviously, you're not seeing the daily stuff. I mean, with, again, obviously the combine, but I'm trying to do like a Saturday, Wednesday sort of thing for the draft. Again, obviously just finalize my schedule. But anyways, yeah, this game was interesting. Getting back on topic here. Seahawks though knocked out the Patriots 29-13 in this one. This game was an absolute snooze fest. It was 12-0. Again, literally the Patriots didn't score. Again, through the first 3 quarters. Again, obviously me being a certified box score enjoyer, CBSE. Again, I'll just tell you that right now. Again, if you're that casual fan, again, CBSEs, every other game other than this, again, they can be held accountable for in some sense. But guys, if you're a CBSE and you're still that for this game, I mean, guys, it's the freaking Super Bowl. Again, even if you were the biggest of mega casuals, you'd still watch this game. You wouldn't have a clue what's going on, but you'd still watch the game. So the fact that, again, you'd still be a CBSE and still not watch the game is just, again, it's pathetic, guys. Like, come on, bro. Again, every other game I can understand it, but for this, bro, like, come on. Anyways, though, again, if you didn't watch the game for whatever reason, this was it was a snooze fest. I will say this fourth quarter we saw some big plays happen, but really this game was just Seattle's defense. I don't want to compare it to what the Patriots were able to do against the Rams back in 2018, but a lot of the same pressure looks. Not again the exact same play calls, obviously, but a lot of the same themes and really just patterns came up with Drake May and, again, Jared Goff back in that Super Bowl. It's really the best way to put it. But we'll talk about Seattle's offense first, probably the least eventful part of this entire game. Again, we'll get to that in a second. But Sam Darnold, the fact that he's the first quarterback in that 2018 NFL draft class to become, again, a Super Bowl champion and also make the Super Bowl is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you could argue he's the worst of those 5 quarterbacks. Again, obviously Josh Rosen's the best. What am I talking about? But anyway, I guess statistically he struggled to complete passes. I don't really think that's the best way to put it because a lot of his throws that were inaccurate were either throwaways, he got absolutely decked on and he didn't really get the ball, which is, again, is his fault, but not really accuracy issues, or, he just missed a couple throws. Definitely wasn't his best game, but again, unlike Drake May, he didn't cost his team the game. That's that simple. But still, for Sam in this game, I think a lot of the pre-snap protection issues really just came from the fact that on third down this offense really wasn't great. Just truth there. But there's a reason that he didn't really have to do a lot in this game, but overall, Sam Darnold getting the Super Bowl title, getting second in Seahawks history. Good for him there. Other than that, though, Kenneth Walker becomes the first. You definitely have heard this for sure by now. Becomes the first running back since Terrell Davis to win Super Bowl MVP. Again, that was 28 years ago that he won that. But still, Kenneth Walker really this entire postseason has gone off. He's really helped his kind of image. Again, he'll definitely be going up that tier ranking this offseason unless something happens. But still, 27 carries for to the tune of 135 yards, 30-yard run, and to get another like 20-something yard or 25 yards, something like that. He showed up in this game, guys. He brought his A game. It's straight up bowling ball. There's no other way to put it. He's just that good. But again, this is definitely a performance in his mind that I think you really need, considering, again, you look at him last year and how his season went, and then again, most of this year he still obviously had his best year since his rookie year, but this is kind of like. This kind of tells you, again, in the big situations, he's the guy there. But yeah, George Carolina is the backup. Again, he didn't really have to do a lot. Other than that, though, Cooper Kupp, 6 for 61. He showed up in the biggest game, similar to what we saw in Super Bowl 56. Again, there with the Rams, obviously not the same impact, but hey, he didn't really need to do a lot like that. Adrian Barner had the touchdown as the Patriots defense kind of left the floodgates open after that. There in the fourth quarters. Again, neither team scored a touchdown until the fourth quarter. You got to keep that in mind there. But other than that, you guys obviously saw JSN. He kind of got locked up. He made a couple nice plays, but a lot of his routes were really kind of, I won't say decoy-ish, but that's probably the best way to put it. Rashid Shaheed kind of got contained in this game. I think he had that one reverse play that really didn't work out. A lot of his containment issues is because Christian Gonzalez can actually run with him, which, again, it's very rare to see that happen. But, I mean, maybe they should have been a little bit different with that. But obviously it didn't matter because they still won the game. Offensive line completely got dominated. Really, the only issues I had from them, again, it really doesn't matter. But Gray Zabel definitely didn't have his best game in pass pro. But, again, they dominated considering how much yards they created before contact for Kenneth Walker as well as just straight up in general there. But Seahawks offense, they kind of just didn't lose this game. Defensively, there's a million things I want to talk about, but it'll take forever to get through it. I will start out with Ernest Jones, who didn't miss a tackle his entire game. I think that's probably the best thing I can say. Again, especially with the Patriots really offense that likes, again, really benefits from breaking tackles. He just didn't let that happen. Josh Jobe Josh Jobe had the best game of his career. Again, albeit that Devin Witherspoon, Nick Amanawari were two of the better playmakers in the entire league there in the secondary. But he stepped up. He really didn't give him much of anything in this one. Devon Witherspoon, 4 tackles, a sack. You think, what is he, forced to fumble, something ridiculous like that? He was all over the field, guys. He played absolutely amazing. He, again, is one of the best playmakers in the NFL, and he showed up in this one in really every way possible, and a lot of the simulated pressures, and really just straight up hot. But to Seattle in this one, really, again, just a credit to the fact that he's just that good. Nick Amanawari, again, injury, again, questionable there. He definitely didn't look 100% for most of this game, but it really didn't matter because in coverage, he just, again, simply put, probably only gave up like maybe 2 yards of separation on like true man-to-man routes. So the fact that that was the case is kind of insane. But yeah, he had himself a game. Rick Wallen, he did get burned for that touchdown, but who really cares, guys? He probably won't be on this team next year. Kobe Bryant played awesome. Drake Thomas, I didn't have honestly the best thing to say about him. I think he was probably the one guy in this defense that could have been a little bit more energetic, but other than that, I mean, he did his thing. Obviously, they had 6 sacks. That's something to note, I think. Yeah. Derek Hall, obviously, he had himself a game. He had like 5 pressures off of just straight bull rushes. Byron Murphy showed an array of moves in this game, but again, very easily just completely abused that Patriots offensive line, which we'll get to in a little bit. Demarcus Lawrence, though, he had 2 tackles. Again, he had a big-time run defensive pressure-oriented game. Chandler Nwosu, obviously, with the dagger with that pick 6 off of the fumble. Julian Love, basically it was a fumble, but still, Julian Love, that was probably the easiest pick I'll ever get, but kind of tells you what the secondary was looking like in this game. Also, Riley Mills, when he's torching your offensive line, Patriots, you know there's something wrong. Leonard Williams was definitely neutralized in this game. I think they did a really good job with double-teaming him, but there were definitely some plays where he kind of just took over. So, again, take with that what you will. And obviously, Jerron Reed was a beast against the run. Jason Myers broke the NFL record with 5 field goals. He, again, was on track to winning MVP before, Kenneth Walker really got things going. But again, 5 field goals for a kicker is the NFL record in Super Bowl. Good for him there. Moving over to the Patriots, guys. I don't want to get on this too much because, again, who really cares about the Super Bowl, guys? Like, what are we doing? All right, anyways, though, for the Patriots, this is definitely a massively disappointing game for them. I wasn't too surprised with the outcome. I'm not gonna try to be like, oh yeah, I definitely saw this coming, because I actually picked them to win, so I'm not gonna go too crazy about that. Again, it was more for fun, but still, for the Patriots here, Drake May, guys, simply put, he just couldn't do anything of note that was going to help this team win the game. Really, it's just because, again, other than Matthew Stafford, the Seahawks defense has completely dominated this entire season. Again, that's just that's just the truth there. So, again, expecting Drake May to go out there and light him up was just not going to happen. With that said, he did an absolutely atrocious job with his anticipation, his straight up awareness in the pocket. Like, holy crap, bro, get the ball out of your hands. Also, this, again, I can tell you a million things about this offensive line. First things first, Morgan Moses was the only guy blocking. I don't want to say that, but whenever there was an engagement at the, again, probably like I'd say a half yard into the pocket, Morgan Moses was the only guy that could hold up consistently. We look at the Patriots offensive line and what's going on here. Mike Onwenu had his worst game of the season. I will say he did do a good job painting as a run blocker, so I'm not going to target on him too much. He's the best offensive lineman on this team, but at the same time, he could have played a better game, especially in pass pro. Garrett Bradbury's hasn't really had a great year with the Patriots overall. I was very disappointed with how he played, though. He did a horrible job, again, with these double teams and really, again, being able to kind of anticipate where guys are going to go, and when they do engage, his hand placement was absolutely terrible. Jared Wilson, he got absolutely destroyed. He's never really been a guy you look at coming out of the draft. Again, we talk about the Patriots and how, again, they're a roster coming into the year that wasn't, again, the strongest. Again, the fact, again, they won 14 games is, again, insane in its own right. But obviously, Jared Wilson, the fact that, again, they brought him in, rookie player, they said he'll start, and he played as well as he did in a lot of the situations. I think, I wouldn't say it was a little bit lucky, but they definitely got fortunate with that. But he's never been a guy, even coming out of college. This is really the reason I didn't really look at him as a very highly sought-after prospect. He can't stop power, at least consistently. And when you're an offensive lineman, you can't stop power. Again, really a necessitable clip. It is very, very hard to be looked at as a good prospect, unless you're just an absolute monster as a run blocker or something. But he can't stop power. And again, I'm not saying that was the main reason they lost this game, but it was definitely a big one because, there were several places that pocket it never existed. For him, though, I think that definitely blew up a little bit more than it usually does. I think this was just a bad game for him, to be honest with you guys, because really this entire season it hasn't been as big as an issue as it probably should have been, but that was a massive issue for this Patriots team in this one. Will Campbell, he's been getting torched all season in a lot of ways. His pressure rate is pretty atrocious. I will say on tape there were some really good things I saw from him in the second half. A lot of people aren't going to give him that credit. A lot of people will be crapping on him. Again, obviously the meme pages are going crazy like that, but trust me guys, on tape, Will Campbell, he had himself a decent game overall, but obviously the finesse rushes, the quick pin pull swim things, those are things that he's always going to struggle with in the league. But yeah, I think it is important to say that he wasn't entirely horrible in this game, despite obviously some deficiencies. Again, looking back at the last 3 games, very big improvement in this one. I don't want to crap on Will Campbell too much, but he obviously had his big time mistakes. Other than that, guys, offensive line, that was really the biggest thing to talk about here because, I mean, again, as much as I want to kind of downplay some of the things because it is always overblown, or almost always, again, when you give him 6 sacks and 19 pressures, again, I got to talk about that. But for Drake May in this game, other than, again, the other big issues that I already talked about with him, his inaccuracy stemmed from the fact that he just simply wasn't on time with these receivers in this game. A lot of it, I think, was ill preparation by Josh McDaniels. He's a guy that I really look at as one of the best offensive coordinators we've ever had in the league in a lot of ways, especially over early since the 2000s. But he did not prepare well at all for this game. Those simulated pressures, those blitzes, again, they're definitely not again, something that we've really seen a lot from them this year, but if you look at Mike McDaniel in the past, that was a huge part of what he was able to do to again, really make it hard on quarterbacks. In this one, not much different there. I just think Josh McDaniels did a horrible job preparing Drake May, and on top of that, Drake May just didn't know what he was doing. I mean, there's no other way to put it. He looked lost out there. Both interceptions were bad. The second one I'm not really too mad about. I mean, again, 2 guys with 1 clean off the edges. Again, Morgan Moses talked about how he played a pretty decent game. That was probably the one play where he got absolutely roasted. Also, the running backs couldn't block in cold. Again, the first interception, though, I mean, Drake, like, what are you doing, bro? Just in those situations, you have to anticipate those throws, and if you don't, it will end up like that. His 2 touchdowns, one was a beauty, obviously, to Matt Collins, but it really didn't matter because under pressure, a lot of his throws were just inaccurate. He either got sacked or just, again, it was a bad play to start out with. Again, also, probably the biggest thing I talk about, I don't really love using these stats because I think they're a little bit ineffective with the fact that, again, the Patriots were still somewhat explosive there in the fourth quarter. 40% of their plays were for negative or 0 yards. I'm sorry, guys. It's impossible to be a productive offense when that's the case unless, I don't know, you're scoring a touchdown every other play. But, again, specifically for the Patriots in this game, they had no medium part of their game, and then their explosives were few, and I mean few and far between. Running game was absolutely atrocious. They haven't been able to run the ball the entire postseason. That's really the biggest thing with them. Drake May obviously had a 16-yard run, really the only explosive play they had out of any sort of ground game. And even then, it was a scramble. Trey Van Henderson, I don't think he's a good running back. Again, when they put him out there in pass pro, it was a complete mess. And I wasn't expecting much else there. He's just a guy that I don't think is really a true starting running back. Again, I'm going to talk about this way more in the offseason, but he's a guy that you look at as your explosive change of pace guy, which they're trying to make him more than, and a lot of people think he is more than. It's just not what it is, though. Ramondre Stevenson in this game, he probably had 1 decent hole this entire game, and I'm not going to lie, he didn't really hit it. He did break tackles, so that's probably the one thing I think I can say from him. But yeah, Ramondre, guys, in this game, he was just, he was definitely off. 540 and a touchdown, the receiving is definitely decent. But again, in terms of a runner, he didn't really get much going at all. But again, their offensive line didn't really do them any justice there. Not going to get too much in the run blocking. For Matt Collins, who's the only receiver who made a lot of big plays. Again, obviously the 35-yard touchdown, made another big play on that drive too. He just simply, again, in terms of the one-on-one leverage battles, he won, even though he really wasn't getting a ton of separation. DeMarlo Douglas, I can't even get too mad about him. He really was honestly the only receiver in this offense that showed up other than Matt Collins. He ran some solid routes. Again, it's really the fact that he's just not, again, he's the 5th best receiver on this roster. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you there. Ramondre Stevenson, I already got into his receiving. Very savvy route runner in this game in terms of his underneath stuff. But overall, this schemed him open there, and that was really probably the only truly productive part of this offense. Stephon Diggs, he was terrible. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I would like to say that he ran a couple of nice routes, but it really wasn't the case. A lot of his timing was off, again, on the get-go, or from the get-go. There we go. But yeah, he was atrocious. Hunter Henry, he got hurt. I don't even know where to start with him. He didn't show up. Keyshawn Boutte, bro could have stayed in the locker room. Austin Hooper was solid blocking, but I mean, you're not expecting to do really much more than this in the NFL at this point in his career. Kyle Williams, yeah, he's got a lot of stuff to work on. Really, guys, this offense, again, the receivers have been overperforming all year, but yeah, they look like a bunch of scrubs out there. There's no, again, the Seahawks just completely shut them down. Defensively for the Patriots, probably the least amount of time I'm going to try to spend on them here. But obviously, Kayvon Chase had a lot of pressure. But other than that, I mean, it was kind of a little bit all over the place. Milton Williams played pretty well. Jack Gibbons, obviously, coverage buster on the A.J. Barner touchdown. But really, guys, all hats off to Christian Gonzalez because he really held the fort down in this one. Really, again, until those floodgates opened. But honestly, guys, this defense, you can't really complain about how they played. Even a guy like Leonard Taylor was shutting the run down in certain instances. Obviously, overall, they get way too many rushing yards and those explosives. But for a defense that had so many, like, again, in terms of, like, bend-don't-break stops, again, you really can't blame this game in any way on this defense. For a defense that I honestly was somewhat impressed by in this game. Definitely some things they're going to need to work on this offseason in terms of again, the overall construction of this defense. But as it stands right now, they got a hell of a group there. Anyways, though, wrapping things up here, again, statistically, again, I was shocked these teams actually got the 600 total yards, but I mean, I guess that's what happened. Inefficiency was the name of this one, though. Again, the explosive plays, like I said, were just really not there. It was really, in the fact, the Patriots' offense was brutal to watch. Not too surprising there. Seattle's defense is way more superior. For Seattle, they have not lost a home game other than the Rams since week 4 of last season. That will continue into next year, obviously. They ended on a 10-game winning streak. Absolutely bonkers. It's their second Super Bowl in franchise history. We'll get more and more into this throughout the offseason, guys. That's all I have from you for the 2025-2026 NFL season. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll have the, again, reaction to my preseason predictions at some point over the next week. But other than that, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the Super Bowl. And again, also the intro. So I hope you guys like that intro. But that's all I got for you guys here. Yeah. See ya, I guess, again, probably about on Saturday, which also is Valentine's Day. Pretty cool.
Here comes Chris Paul. The lob. Touchdown! Oh, what a monster jam by DeAndre Jordan!